It's also a surprise that clubs have not clocked this and look to bring him in. Almost suspect, because why is that? What's going on, people? Welcome back to League M for another video. There has been a lot of activity happening in and around the club, and we're just going to go through what has happened throughout the past week or so. So we're going to kick things off with player outgoings. There's 3 players that the club have confirmed to have been moved on from the club, namely Hakim Ziyech, Lewis Hall and Omari Hutchinson. Touching on Hakim Ziyech, he's going to be plying his trade in Galatasaray now. They have acquired him on a permanent basis. Sad to see players like this go. He was part of the team that helped us to win the Champions League, and personally I would have liked if he stuck around, but that 2021 season most of those players had already clocked out of the club. Mentally they were elsewhere, and you cannot really operate with players who have already clocked out. You get me? Thank you for the moments. Good luck to you. We'll be seeing you. And yeah, the other player confirmed to have been moved on is Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall have long confirmed to have triggered their option to buy Lewis Hall for, I think it's 35 million. I had thought that he'd be taken into consideration with the current system that we're playing, because he can play left back, he can invert into midfield if possible, and he also has the technical ability to be utilized in a much more advanced midfield position. Like, he's so good, but you know, it seems as if the club has already been set on letting him go for the sake of being in the green in terms of FFP. I guess we're still going ahead with selling some of the players that need to be sold for us to be still in the green now going forward, even though we are already in the green. But yeah, I guess just wasn't meant to be. So he has left us to go join Newcastle, and we'll see what the future has in store for Lewis Hall, as well as Omari Hutchinson, who has been confirmed to have signed with Ipswich Town. Now, we know that the club have been willing to let go of Omari Hutchinson for a while now, and Ipswich were one of the clubs that were in for him, and the move has finally come to pass. I believe that this is the kind of move that would benefit both parties, be it the club and Omari, because Omari will get more game time. He already has a rapport with the club. He probably has a starting place secured at Ipswich already, and it's going to be interesting to see how well he performs with Ipswich and how Ipswich as a whole perform in the Premier League next season. Wishing them nothing but the best, and I'll have my eye on them. Moving on to transfer rumours, there's been a lot of conjecture surrounding Chelsea and the striker situation, and now word has been going around that we might be looking to bring in Jonathan David from Lille. Now, I'd say his profile is a bit different from that of Jackson's. He's less of a hold-up striker and more of a runner in behind, more of a box presence, and he definitely knows where the goal is. Him having dropped great numbers for Lille in back-to-back seasons. It's also a surprise that clubs have not clocked this and look to bring him in. Almost suspect, because why is that? A player dropping a bit over 30 goal contributions, with most of those being goals. That's what you need in a striker. Why hasn't anyone inquired about him? It really should be investigated, because this player is only 24. 1 year left on his contract, market valuing him at 50 million euros, not pounds, euros. More than 30 goal contributions in back-to-back seasons. I mean, that surely that should be tempting for any top club in need of a striker. Now, this one, in terms of value for money, is too good to be true. It's tempting. And as much as that is the case, I'd rather we stick with Jackson and just have David Fofana deputize for him. Unless we sell David Fofana, then yeah, then we can look, because there's a void to fill now. We don't have another striker who's ready to come in when we need him. Sell to buy. It's very simple. So if there was a vacancy that needed to be filled, I'd be all for this move. But for now, no. Moving on to the players that we know have been signed by the club. There have been players that we know have been signed by the club. The first one being Omari Kellman from Aston Villa. This is yet another young talent that we've signed for £19 million, give or take. I'm just going to go ahead and say we don't know much about this brother. This bro, who we just saw that we signed him, and you know that we have to now dig deep to find information, look at videos, because he was still, you know, part of the Aston Villa academy. He had been promoted to the first team, but he hasn't featured regularly for the Aston Villa first team. And as much as reports are saying he's going to be part of the team, I think it's going to be another David Washington situation where he's going to be training with the first team and might be included in the first team squad, might get some minutes, but ultimately I think he's going to play most of his football with the under-21s. Or maybe after pre-season that might change. If he impresses, we never know. I feel like people have to understand that these are the kind of signings that we're going to make now going forward as well. As much as there are players that we were going to sign and we know that, okay, one is definitely for the present, but others, you can see them. He will be assessed in pre-season, and if he impresses, we're going to see more of him with the first team. And with him being a midfielder as well, we need as many bodies as possible in that position that we can call upon when needed, especially in that position. So we'll see what transpires with Omari Kellman. Another player that we have confirmed to secured his services is Markguyu from Barcelona. This is another one that we really don't know much about, except that he's a striker who was promoted from the Barcelona academy. He had a couple of appearances with the Barcelona first team, scored a couple of goals as well, scored on debut in La Liga, scored on debut in the Champions League as well. So that's pretty much it. One of his academy coaches categorized him as a classic 9, a striker who uses his physicality to great effect to get the better of his opponents, and who is a much bigger threat in the box. So those are good attributes to have for a striker. I think this is also one of the players whom his development will be monitored, and we'll see whether or not he can be part of the team. It was reported that he's going to be part of the first team, and he'll probably be assessed in pre-season as well. And if he impresses, then, you know, like Mark Kellman, I think it's the same situation. So we will see what happens. If he does good, then he does good. If not, you know, at least it's not one of those signings where we broke the bank for, because I think the signings that will help us in the present, we know them, we'll see them. I just don't think, you know, there's a lot of players that we need currently at the moment. I think he may be in and around the first team. He may be training with the first team, but I think it's going to be just like the situation with David Washington. Another player that we've confirmed to have signed is Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall from Leicester City. Central midfielder, attacking midfielder, great talent. We've seen him in the season that Leicester got relegated. Good dribbler, good ball carrier, and he also has that intricate pass in him. He also has a good shot in him. We have signed a player there that can help us, even if it's just strength in depth. And I think, you know, that might mean we may be letting go of Conor Gallagher for real, because there's starting to be a lot of traffic in the midfield. And, you know, for the sake of whatever agenda the club is trying to push with PSR regulations and the players as well, for there to be good harmony within this dressing room, we have to make cut-offs here and there. I'm very excited to see what Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is going to bring into the club and how Enzo Maresca is going to utilize him. Now, the biggest news in terms of incomings for the club is that we have finally signed Estevao Willian from Palmeiras. A done deal, here we go, confirmed. But for all of you who don't know, he's a right winger formerly of Palmeiras in Brazil. He was just starting to break into the Palmeiras first team when teams started sniffing around for him in, well, last year basically. He will be joining us next summer in 2025. I know a big part of the fan base is not really excited when we sign teenagers, you know, or really young players, but this one is different, guys. This one has caught the eye of a lot of big clubs in Europe. Your nickname cannot be Messinho if they don't think you're something special, honestly. One would say that is due to him sharing some similarities in style of play with Lionel Messi, but you know, the people who do watch him will tell you, okay, there's a bit of Messi, you know, when we talk about the intelligence and reading the game. In terms of dribbling, there's Neymar there. In terms of power and driving with the ball, dribbling at speed, that's, you know, Angel Di Maria. This is an amalgamation of great players, and you're telling me that you are not excited? Out of here. And the manager at Palmeiras urging the club not to let go of him as of yet, with him being a raw talent, also says something. This is a signing that we should be excited for. He operates at the right hand side of the attack and, you know, likes to cut inside. He's much more dangerous when he cuts into his stronger left foot. He can dribble at speed. Has received praise for his intelligence and his ability to read the game. And at a young age at that, it's very telling. It is reported that he's not going to be going out on loan when he joins. He's going to immediately come into the first team. That fact is very telling as well. The more I find out about this boy, the more excited I get, because I really think we do have a diamond in the rough here. And I don't think he'll find any trouble getting into the team. I think he will definitely compete directly with the likes of Noni Madueke and Angelo Gabriel. The fact that he's not limited to the right wing also means that he can be utilized in various number of ways as well. You know, there is a bit of traffic in the right wing position, and if we can shift players at no cost to the balance of the team, then that is all good. And with the fee being £56 million, I mean, for an 18-year-old, that is a bit of an overpay, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. But you guys, let me know what you think in the comment sections below. I'm honestly very excited to see the players that have come in currently, and I do not think that we are done in this transfer window. I think there's still more business to be done, more outgoings, more incomings. Anyway, that is it for this video. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections below regarding the whole thing. Do you think we should bring in Nathan David? Are you fine with Jackson? How do you think Markguyu or Omari Kellman are going to do at the club? Estevao Willian when he comes through, and the players that are leaving, how do you feel about that? Let me know in the comments. Please, if you're new, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Keep it M.